Hi everyone. Today we're going to draw a cow holding a flower in its mouth. Just something fun and kind of because we're in the country and I heard some cows mooing the other day. So we are going to get a piece of paper, get your pencil. We're going to start, let's see, we're going to draw them this way. So let's see, let's tilt this camera. Put my hand over here. All right. So we're going to start with like the idea, like the shape. Our cow's going to be like holding up his little flower in his mouth. So we're going to have him, I'm going to start with like the nose area of our cow. So we're going to start with this boxed in shape of our mouth. And then of course their little mouths come in like this. So this is like the nose area where the mouth, where the lip of the mouth would be, right in this area. We're just going to get this shape right here. All right. And then we're going to put his little jaw underneath. So we'll have this type of shape. Inside this shape right here. Okay, so this is our nose piece right here, all right? So we're going to kind of shape this a little bit because their little nose has that more of a rounded little shape right in here. So we're not going to need this extra little line. And then same with this side. So we're going to have this rounded piece. And it's going to come in a little bit. And it's going to go over. So we have this piece. And I'm just going to put in like where the nostrils are going to be right now, just so I can kind of keep track of them. And our nostrils always have those little curves to go with them. And our cows have that little space piece right here. Now, above the nostrils, you're going to have like this little piece that's kind of like the flat top part of the nose. So I'm just going to indicate that it's going to be right here right now. It looks kind of like a little angry face. So we have this going on. And then I'm going to put in the little snout part. It's going to come around. And it's going to come over like this. It's going to come around. It's going to come over. So we have like this shape right here. So we're kind of working our way up the face of the cow by starting right in this area and working our way up this way. So because our cow is kind of looking up at us as he's holding his little flower, we're going to bring in the top of the face right up around in this area. So I'm going to leave a mark right here. And I'm going to put another mark right over in this area. It's going to come up a little bit more. So if you guys know how I measure all the time, I have a little guide picture that I'm looking at right now just to make sure that I'm getting the right shape for you guys and not drawing a weird looking cow. So we got this part of the face so far. Okay, so we're going to go up this way and we're going to create where the eyes are going to end up. So they come in like this. I kind of like to build upon when I'm drawing animals. I like to build it up in shapes and in sections because it makes it a lot easier and it makes your animal a little bit more realistic. And remember, it's hard for me to draw like sideways. So I'm just trying to even out these eyes right here, right now. Makes it really hard. There we go. So we have this shape going on. And then, of course, you have like a top of the head. And cows always have that little bump on the top of their head type looking piece. So we're going to give him this little bump on the top of, well, on the top of her head, I should say. I'm going to draw a dairy cow. Usually they're girls. Just going to smooth that line out a little bit. All right. So let's figure out where our eyes are going to be. So that's going to help guide us a little bit more. Cows usually see on the sides of their head because they're prey. Remember, predators have eyes in the front of their head, like lions and cheetahs and cats. And then animals that are prey have eyes that are kind of on the sides of their heads, like rabbits and cows and deer. All right, so I just put an indication that that's where the eyes are going to be, and I can shape them so that way they're like a nice. So I'm curving off one side and I'm making it kind of rounded. And then this will be my eye, just like that. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to have my round area perfectly round still. And I'm going to curve out my inside piece. Let me see. I'm just checking to make sure my eyes are the same, and they are not. That's why they look funny. Let's see here. All right. So it's really hard to draw when you got a piece of paper on the side of you instead of, flat on a table. And it makes it kind of tricky sometimes. So if you see me struggling, that's because I'm trying to show you everything I'm doing, like what you're used to in class. And it just gets a little tricky sometimes. So anyways, I got this shape. So I got the eyes on now. And I've got this nice rounded eye part. And if you want to go ahead and fill them in, you can. I'm just going to do that later. We're going to worry about putting on our cow's ears now. Okay. So on this side, because our cow's kind of looking at us and looking upward a little bit, I never realized how weird cows' ears were until I started drawing them. So this one's going to go up, and then it's going to come down, and it's going to do this like, okay. So we've got an oval piece that kind of comes in here to show the inside of the ear. So if you draw that oval piece to start with, it makes life a lot easier for you, and then you don't end up like Mrs. Comstock trying to struggle. So we got this oval shape, right? And then it is going to bring this piece way down like this. And this is the inside of your ear. So I've got this piece right here. And then I'm going to draw the other ear. And because this cow is kind of at like he's looking at us from the side kind of thing, we're going to have like a big, let me see here, oval over here. When I sketch out these designs, I sketch them out on the table, and then I go and do these videos for you guys. And what happens is that I have to learn how to draw straight up and down as I'm doing this video. So it makes it really kind of hard. So this here is kind of a little bit further away because he's coming from the So we're at an angle. So we're going to see more of this side than this side, right? Okay. Glad you're with me. And he's got kind of a Shrek ear going on over here. Okay. So I'm going to widen this ear out a little bit right over here. Oh yeah, that'll make it a lot more believable. So we have this cow, and it's looking at us, and it's being all adorably cowish. So we got this ear right here. So this would be like the side of the ear. This would be the top of our ear if you want to just put in a little bit of a straight line and not a piece that's so sketchy. And then if you just put in some little curved lines like this right in here, you'll have like that believable skin part that overlaps for a cow right there. Same thing with this side. We're just going to make this little, let me see here, this little loop that comes in right here. And then I can erase this extra little piece right here because I won't need it. I'll erase this weird little mark that I made earlier too. So we got some ears and we have a cow face. So we're doing pretty good so far. I like to come back in and add like these little, I don't know, everyone always calls them cartoony eyebrows, but they're just like the shape of the cow's skull and everything. So we still have like this little piece up here. And cows have like a little bit of hair up here that shows every once in a while when you're looking at him up close. And this one's going to have some hair showing. So he looks like he has like a little buzz cut going on. All right, so there's the little hair that I drew up in there. So far, so good. I'm going to start adding some little shapes for my cow. I'm going to start adding, let me see, some little spots. And the cool part about the spots is that you can really do them any which way you would like to, and they're going to come out fine. And I'm going to put this little shine inside my cow's eye right now so I know where it's going to be. It makes them look a little bit more realistic. Same thing on this side. I'm going to put this around right in here, and I'm going to bring out this little curved spot on the eye over on this side. So we're doing pretty good right now. We've got some spots on our cow. We've got a nose going on. We got a mouth going on. All right, so here's like the interesting part. I'm going to start doing a little bit of shading and texturing right in here. And so you can do that too. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll put the little flower in his mouth. So the first thing I want to do is I want to start filling in really darkly, creating that shadow that shows us that the ear is coming off of the head from behind or onto the side, only because I don't want people to think that the ear is coming off of the side of the cow's eyeball. So we got this part going on. I'm going to add some shading right in here. So we've got a little bit of shading going on. I'm going to try to make sure I don't lose my line that's going on right up here, but I do want my cow to have like black ears. So that's why I'm doing the shading right over in this area. So I wanted to set my ear back a little bit from my cow. And I'm also just going to put in some indications that there's a shadow in here so that the ear is folded inward. So my darkest shadow should be in the middle, and my lighter areas would be towards the outside of this. It's a little tricky when you're on a piece of cardboard and it won't let you give yourself some darks. Anyway, so here's like my ear. I'm going to go off and do the other ear. I'm going to create that dark shadow really close up to the face. I'm going to create that dark shadowy line that shows the under part of the ear has a shadow to it. So I want to create some contrast. I want to use this value scale that's so important that I've been talking to you guys about all year long. Creating a value scale will make a big difference for all your stuff. It'll make it all look like it is, you know, not flat. So you have pieces overlapping other pieces and you want to be able to tell that. all that stuff that we worked on when we were doing portraits and still lifes. Doing a lot of shading, but that's okay. And this is good practice for everybody anyways. So make sure that you are definitely participating in these drawings and sending me pictures of them afterwards, because that's where you're getting all those points from. And a lot of people have been doing them, and I'm telling you what, they are really helping fourth quarter grades. They really helped third quarter grades. I recommend you guys do these practice drawings with me. When we get back to school, we'll be doing animal portraits. Those of you who have been doing all these practice work with me, you will have a head start on everybody else. All right, so you have like these nice shadows going on. I've got this hair on my cow's head. I'm going to add like a little bit of a shadow around the side of his head right up here and right in here to show that he's got that bump right there. So he kind of stands out a little bit. And then I am going to all right, so then I'm going to add a nice dark shadow right over here to show the difference between the nose. I'm going to add like some more dark areas right around the edge of the face to like really show that we have some form. We're trying to add form to this cow. We don't want him to look so flat that he doesn't make sense. So then I'm also going to make sure that when I do my spots that I give him a little bit darker of an edge on him, because that way he'll be nice and he'll pop out a little bit. And I want to make sure I have nice dark lines around my eyes because I don't want to lose the eyes either. So keep this stuff in mind. This is all really important stuff right here, you know, where you should add your contrast. What areas should be your darker areas when you're doing your value scales. Remember, like 1 is your lightest area and 10 is your darkest. So I would say if you're doing the eyes, I would do a 10. You're doing the spot around the eyes, I would do a 7 or an 8, so that way you don't lose your eyes. You have a area that needs to have a nice dark shadow. Well, that area needs to be like an 8 or a 9. It needs to have a nice dark shadow. Notice how I'm going to keep this nice dark shadow going all the way across the face. I want my cow's nose to pop out. So same thing as in like right in this area, I'm going to create this little shadowy spot that comes down a little bit. So I want my cow to look like he's believable. I'm just going to smudge this part in. So that way he blends a little bit. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a shadow right in here to show that his nose is kind of coming up. So like he has that little bridge of his nose. And I'm just going to smudge this part in a little bit just to do that. And then I would expect you guys to fill in the other side of the eye with the spot. And I want to talk about this area right down here to make him a little bit more rounded, okay? So this area I'm going to leave like white around where the nose is because I want to do a lot of shading in the nose. But I want to create, notice how my pencil is going in this direction now. I want to create that this is rounded. I want to create that idea that my cow has a rounded face, that he's not flat. I'm going to create a nice dark shadow right in here. I'm going to round in this area and I'm going to make a darker shadow right in here because I want this to look rounded. Okay, so darker right in this area. We want this little nose to pop out more for our cow. We want our cow to be believable that he's not flat. So definitely be rounding your edges. Add little bits of shadows in different spots. Make him believable. Really darken in some of your sections. All right, and then right here, I'm going to darken in a lot because this is the little lip where the mouth opens. And I'm going to darken this in, like I'm going to make a thick line right here. Before I go off and work on the bottom chin part, I need to finish up parts of my nose. So I'm just going to smudge this together so that way it blends a little bit better. Oh yeah, that's nice. And then I'm going to fill this part in, his little nostrils, her little nostrils. And then this side. And I'm going to create a nice little shadow that's going to go down all the way to where the little lips are. And then I'm going to give this part a little bit of a nice rounded shadow, but not too dark because this is the front of the mouth and this is the closest to us. And I want it to be a little bit lighter because it's kind of popping outward towards us. And so I'm going to create like a little bit of a shadow right around here. I'm going to do a little bit of a shadow right in this area. Really kind of round with your nostrils. Just like this, little light shadow right in here. Just a little tiny one right over, just to get across here. And then that's pretty much it that I'm going to do for the nose. So I'm going to go back in and smudge, do some blending with my blending finger. It's really blending as you go, really helps you see like the three-dimensionalness that we have going on in this cow. I'm just giving it a little highlight right here. All right, so it's really popping out now. So I'm going to do the little chin. I'm going to show you where to put the lines for the body, and I'm going to draw the flower, and then it's going to be up to you to finish filling in where you have your spots on your body. So we are adding a nice rounded shadow by the chin. Not going to fill it in all the way because just like a rounded cylinder that we've shaded before, we want your chin to have some volume. So that being said, I'm just going to blend him out right here. That worked out pretty good, huh? Nice little cow so far. Okay, if you want, you go back in and darken up some of these. Fill in your eyes. Make sure you fill in your spot on your own. I'm going to draw a little line that comes straight down right here because this is going to be like his body because he's looking at us as he's walking by. It's like he turned his head. And then right up here, I'm just going to draw this line. And it's going to be the body part. So make sure that you have good lines between your head and your body at this point. I'm going to draw some exciting little spots on here. I'm going to put a little spot right in this area. So I have like little lines that I've drawn everywhere, just so you can see. Okay, so let's draw that flower before we go off and do anything else. So I'm going to have the stem coming out like this. So we have to make sure that our mouth is overlapping our stem as we do it. So what I did was I went back in and made sure that my line was dark right here. So then my little flower piece is going to come out right over here. And I'm going to make sure that my line is really dark for my mouth right here because I don't want to make it look like my cow is not holding a flower. I'm almost done, okay? Now I'm going to draw an oval right here. You can draw any type of flower you would like. I'm going to draw a sunflower, just a nice quick sunflower. So I'm going to have some petals coming off like so. Like my cow is excited because she found herself a sunflower. I don't even know if cows eat sunflowers, but I think it's kind of funny. All right. So, and then for right up in here, well, I got to draw this towards me or I'm never going to be able to do this. So this petal is going to come up. And then I want to make some petals like that are overlapped and kind of drooping across my flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with ovals on the sides of them and then just bring the petals across and down. So that way I'm creating this nice sunflower that isn't just like a basic sunflower that's just standing up and all, you know, pretty and perfect. Like this one's been carried around by the cow, so it is a little droopy. Okay, so another little flower petal that's kind of scooting down. Let me just fix this and then I can show you. All right. Okay. So what I got here is my little flower, my sunflower. And I know these petals are a lot bigger than these ones, but I wanted to create a little bit of texture and depth. So I would go back in and I would add some different little designs. Remember, if you create different textures on different things, then it will be exciting. All right. So this is the line for the body. Make sure you add some shadows and some different spots, making it really exciting flower. Make sure you're doing lots of shading. Finish it up and send me a picture. See you later.